Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report. Sam, we had a ball game Friday night. The Spartans let Franklin County come to town, who had won a game and lost none, and they went out of town with 2 wins and still lost none.
Yeah, they sure did. That game I thought would be close. I really did. And
Yes.
having seen the Spartans play the week before, they were playing not only for a conference game, but the old Oaken water keg that's
Yes.
become a tradition. The Spartans had that since last year when we traveled down to Franklin County and won, and we were able to bring that home. But wasn't meant to be on Friday night, Fran. The Spartans, I think, showed their youth. The week before, I witnessed a game at Richmond, and I was very impressed with a very youthful team, even though they'd lost by 29 points at Richmond. But this week, this past Friday night, against Franklin County the week before had only beaten Newcastle by 1 point,
Yes,
and
21 to 20.
and I just thought that our Spartans would have a chance in that game, but too many turnovers, too many fumbles, interceptions, and Franklin County, you got to give them credit, Fran. They're a good football team.
If they aren't at the top or near the top at the end of the season of the conference, I'll be surprised.
I will be too, and of course, everything in that conference kind of goes through East Central.
Yes.
But that's quite a rivalry between those two schools, and Franklin County with a lot of tradition. So I think there could be a team to be reckoned with, and it's a team that we may see again come sectional time.
I was impressed with Franklin County. They win 50-13. Seems as though they took advantage of all the mistakes the Spartans made, and we made quite a few, as you pointed out. We had some interceptions, turnovers. We had some penalties that were more or less mental errors, I think, when you jump off sides and things like that. But Franklin County played a smart game.
They did, and McCreary, I thought, played very well for them, and he was able to find Pepper, and they were just able to move the ball. We thought coming in that it'd be mostly a ground attack, but they were able to air it out some too.
Yes, I think that sort of surprised some of the Spartans when they did go to the passing game more than what I think they were prepared for. I really do. But speaking of McCreary, you and I were talking about before the program. He reminded me quite a bit of our Colton Gonzalez a year ago, and in the other years that Colton carried the ball all the time for the Spartans and ground out the yardage. This guy reminded me of Colton a great deal, number 23.
Yeah, he certainly did, and terrific player that they have, and as we said, Franklin County, I think, is going to win a lot of ball games. They're 2-0. I don't know who they have coming up, but Spartans are going to have to put that behind them and learn from their mistakes. They are a very young team, and I guess maybe after having seen them play the first night, that expectations from a lot of people, not only me, were maybe a little higher than what it ended up being. But they're kids, they're resilient,
Sure.
and very coachable, I think. So Coach Adam Kelly will have them ready, I'm sure, for this week as they will prepare for Greensburg.
A young team, as you said, and I think it's growing pains. I think the youngsters, I think we'll see a lot different team halfway during the season than what we saw Friday night.
I think so too, and they have some good opportunities here to win some games. Greensburg, they were able last year to go down to their place and come home with a victory. The following week from this Friday, we travel to South Dearborn, and South Dearborn the last few years has struggled. I'm sure that they have improved, but still a game that the Spartans should be able to be competitive in. And then after that, we travel over to Henshaw Field at Rushville, and Rushville now 0-2 on the season. So, it gives you maybe some hope, and that some of the competition coming up, while can be formidable, it's still, when you look at their records and their past records, that we should be competitive with them, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
South Dearborn's at a roar, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I know it's
350 heading toward Moores Hill and Milan at up the top of the hill. Beautiful facility down there that sets up on top of the hill, but the football field's kind of down. It's kind of bowled out a little bit. So it's a nice drive down there. So,
Sure.
of course, we got first things first, Greensburg, but it's always nice to see a lot of red across the way when when we're at football games. So.
I'm sure Coach Kelly is working these guys hard this week to try to correct the problems that we saw Friday night. But I think, as you said, I think they're a group that's very learnable, and I see no reason why they shouldn't be competitive in some upcoming games.
I think they will be. The other night was just a perfect football night.
Yes.
For the fans, and we packed them in. It was good to see that many people.
We had a good crowd. We're seeing some of the highlights right now of the game. Here was Connersville's defender tried to go up to break up that pass play, but he wasn't able to, and it was one of the Franklin County TDs. This is Paxton Caldwell, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's the second, I was going to say the second touchdown the Spartans scored, but that wasn't, but I believe Paxton did.
Nice drive by
Yes.
him, and we were able to put together some big drives, but just not enough of them, and weren't able to get it in the end zone except twice.
It's number 23. That's the fellow we were talking about that reminded us of Colton Gonzalez when
McCreary.
he played for the Spartans, McCreary S. Cole. He's a senior at Franklin County. This is Caldwell again for Connersville, who ground out a lot of yardage in the first game with Richmond. I know he did well Friday night carrying the ball.
Good defensive play there, and by the Spartans, and at times, defensively, I thought they looked pretty good, but at other times, they just need to work on it a little more.
Yes, number 23, Carey, follows his blockers in, and it's a good ball club, excellent ball club. But,
there they go again, and it seemed like just way too many times, and it was too many times because they score 50 points. And
every time we looked up, I think another thing Coach Kelly talked about was the defense was on the field so much, and these young guys just wore down, I think, after being out there for so long. So here McCreary again finds a hole and takes advantage. And
later in the game, as the sun had gone down, you can tell from the lighting there. But they were able, Franklin County, able to dominate time of possession, and as you said, that just really wore the defense down.
Yes.
You got to be able to get them off the field. Now, there was looked like a blocked point after, and here we go again for our second score right there as Caldwell took it in. But by this time in the game, with just over 5 minutes left, it was no doubt that Franklin County was going to win.
Yes.
But it comes a point in time, Fran, where you got to play for some pride there too, and stop them from getting those final scores late.
yes. I'm always impressed when the teams line up after a game, show good sportsmanship. They congratulate each other and go on, but that's very good. Greensburg, as you pointed out, yet to win a game. They lost to Shelbyville 34-33, and to Jennings County 35-14.
And probably two pretty good football teams. Jennings County, a bigger school, I believe they're a 5A school, and Shelbyville, a rivalry with Greensburg, just right down the road on I-74, and both former South Central Conference teams.
Yeah.
So very familiar over the years with each other.
Right. Rushville lost to Newcastle at home. They're 0-2. 7-3 was the final score. And you don't see that score very often.
No, you don't.
In football, do you?
Defensive struggle there.
I guess so. And the Spartans will be going over there, as you pointed out, on September 18. So that's it's not too far away.
That'll be the War on 44.
The War on 44. Richmond lost to New Palestine 72-7. That's you don't see that score very often.
No, you don't. New Pal evidently, and a very good football team. They're number
Apparently.
one in 5A and
Yes.
defending champs, and so Richmond had their hands full. But that score surprised me. That game started a half hour late, so when I was leaving Spartan Field, I tuned that in and was listening to it. And I thought, oh, that score can't be correct.
Yes.
But it was, and having seen Richmond the week before and their speed and
Yes.
I just thought that while New Pal probably would have won that game anyway, I just thought that score would not be that
Well,
lopsided.
I thought it was a misprint when I first saw it, but I saw it again, and it was still 72. But that's their kicker must have been worn out. New Pal, I mean, kicking off after all
Time
this.
after time, yeah. Of course, New Pal, a growing school, part of the
Yes.
donut around Indianapolis,
Right.
and probably getting a lot of transfers and that from the city. And football, high school football, I think especially around greater Indianapolis has just become really, really a big thing. You see the highlight reels on TV after the games on the 11 o'clock news, and huge crowds and lots of enthusiasm and a lot of good teams in the
Some of
metro
these
area.
kids remind me of junior college teams. I mean, a lot of emphasis on football in Indianapolis and in the area, and it's. As you point out, there's some excellent teams up there. But it was interesting. One other area game, Monroe Central beat Union County 36-6. The Patriots are 1-1 on the season. We don't play them in the football, but I think they'll have a pretty good season.
Yeah, I think they should have.
Yeah, I think so.
Wish them well.
Yeah, I certainly do. We hope the folks at Liberty turn out and watch their team. Fans here at Connersville turned out. It was a great crowd. Friday night.
Look for a big crowd again this week when Greensburg comes to town. I know that that's one thing we can count on, that usually if the weather's good, we'll have a big crowd at Spartan Stadium. And of course, it's a nice place to come to.
Yes.
Very comfortable, great concessions, and
Yes.
and plenty of parking. So we look for a big crowd when the Pirates make their way this way, north and east from Decatur County.
Okay, this week, Tuesday, the volleyball will be in action at Newcastle. Saturday, they will be in a tournament at North Central. And football, freshman football, they play Tuesday here, meeting Franklin County. The varsity meets Greensburg on Friday, and Saturday, the junior varsity will be playing at Greensburg. So a lot of football this week, Sam, for Spartans. Girls golf, they meet Newcastle at Willowbrook on Thursdays. And the cross country, they're idle until September the 8th. They go to East Central. Girls soccer, they host East Central on Thursday. They go to South Dearborn on Saturday. Boys tennis plays at South Dearborn Tuesday, at Greensburg Thursday, and at Richmond on Saturday. And boys soccer at Wapahane on Thursday, and South Dearborn on Saturday. So a lot of sports action.
A busy week for Spartan athletics. Busy week for the athletic department and for the transportation department, making sure that all these teams get to where they're going. And you mentioned the boys tennis, and once again, that for those that maybe don't know or haven't seen our shows previous, that no home games this year, no home matches, that they're all on the road because they're redoing the tennis courts up there. But looked like they were making some progress when I drove around there the other night going to the football game. But still, it's going to everything's on the road this year.
Yeah, they away all year, and of course I think host a tennis tournament usually. That'll have to be rescheduled someplace else, but hopefully the IHSAA will give it back to us next year.
And with new surface courts, I would think
so.
they should.
Yes. Hopefully they will. Well, all in all, it's really going to be a busy season. I don't know what to expect from the Spartans. Looking ahead to basketball, if you want to talk about the girls team coming up? You think they got a lot of veterans?
Yeah, they got a lot of youth.
A lot of youth.
A lot of youth.
Graduation took its toll
Yeah,
on that too.
yeah, they sure do.
And they did football.
Sure have,
Yeah.
and maybe a little bit of a rebuilding year, but Coach Thompson does a terrific job with those young ladies. And
Yes.
I know he'll have them ready, but it may be some rebuilding this year. And there are some veterans back, but probably, I think, one of the best ball handlers I've seen in many, many years. And Taylor Stephen, she graduated and she's going to school up in Wisconsin now. So, and Courtney Phillips, of course, gone, and Destiny Rue. So some of the good ball handlers and good shooters. Don't get me wrong, we still have some coming back, but when you lose somebody like Taylor and
great
Courtney,
ball handler.
just,
She was a point guard and set up the plays, and it should be an interesting season. They'll be starting early in November, and on a new floor.
Right, right. And as a reminder, that old floor is still available for sale too. We talk about that every week, but I know that AD Brent Duncan would like to make sure he gets rid of that and put some money back into the coffers for the Spartan athletics.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
You mentioned cross country and cross country going on this time of the year, and I think maybe do we not have some
I think we
highlights
have some video, of the cross country. So let's see that right now. The CHS cross country crew.
I think the runners that we have returned are in so much better shape than they were last season. Already I've had a lot of personal bests from just the 3 meets that we've had. The returning runners are definitely more ready this season than they were last. We lost a lot of really good runners last year, so our program is definitely rebuilding, but I look for us to be successful. The ladies won conference the last 2 years in a row, and the sectional the last 3 years in a row, and the boys have won in there as well and been runner-up. I think that I would like to see us strive for those same goals. It's a completely different team, but that doesn't mean they can't have the same success.
Over the last 3 years, I've been really close to getting under 23 minutes. I've been 23 flat or 23:05 or something like that. So my personal goal is just to get in the 22s. And then as a team, I've been part of the sectional winning team, and we've gone on to semi-state. And I would just really like to see the team win sectionals as a group and become regional qualifiers. I think that would be quite an accomplishment with the team we have. We have a fairly new team.
I want us to advance to the regional as a team, and I want us to advance participants to the semi-state, either as a team or individually.
It's kind of bittersweet because it's nice to be a senior. I like cross country, but I'm gonna miss it because I'm gonna miss high school. It's kind of sad that this is my last year running.
Well, the team has been like my second family. I'm so grateful to have a great group of girls that I can run with and girls that just support me no matter what. Even when our season's over, we're really close friends, and I'm just thankful to be part of the team.
Being a Spartan, I do 3 sports. Most of my friends has come from being sports. Spartans, Connersville, it's just been good to me, really. That takes up a lot of my time is all the sports.
Being a Spartan has allowed me to have experiences which I'll always be grateful for, not only experiences throughout school but also on the team, and I'm just proud to represent my school.
I'm just ready for a good season, what I'm going to get out of it, and hopefully the kids all have personal best by the end of the year.
What's that when you see these youngsters out running along the road? I often see them, and they're in training.
Oh, they are. They run up through town. They run out in the country, and running is one of those things. Either you like it or you don't like it. But there's a lot of people that do it, and it's something that can carry over into adulthood. That as long as a person's knees, I guess, can hold out. Now, I used to have to run in the Army, and I never really cared for it. But I give these kids a lot of credit for going out and running up and down and up the hills and down. And when you see these kids out running and practicing, and be careful and slow down for them if you're out driving down those county
Yes.
roads, because it's somewhat dangerous. But it takes a lot of dedication on those kids' part.
Yeah, we appreciate those, the coach and the youngsters that appeared on our video to bring us a little bit up to date about cross country. They don't have a whole lot of meets like I mentioned earlier this week. I don't think they're on at all, and they're on the 8th of September is when they're in action once again. I think we host some tournaments here, I believe.
Yes, I believe we do,
Yes.
and maybe sectional, as I recall in years
yes,
past,
I think
because
so.
I know people that have been asked to help work that and volunteer to be at certain points and say, you got to turn here or whatever. So.
Yeah, they set the course up out on the campus of CHS, and you'll see flags up and arrows in the grass that they paint to point out the track for them and so on and so forth. So, what do you think of the Colts? They're going to be okay this year?
Well, I think so. Year in and year out, I'm a little disappointed. The Colts never show much in preseason, and you really don't know. You don't know if they're going to be any good or not.
Sure.
But because they don't seem to put a lot of emphasis on winning those games. But I guess they're trying out players and different ones and seeing who can.
Preventing injuries, I think, is a big
so,
thing too.
Yeah. But I think that Andrew Luck and company should have a pretty good season. Be interesting to see if the judge upholds the suspension of Tom Brady. If he does, then his first game will be at Indianapolis. So the Deflate Gate scandal.
Oh gosh,
So.
I mean, with all the problems in the world, why would you?
Yeah, I know, and I just wonder why a judge would even take that on, because to me it's a private organization, the NFL, and if they vote, their leadership says he's suspended,
Sure.
he's suspended.
I would think so, but oh gee, the court system, they run everything through the courts, don't they anymore?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Yeah.
So.
Bengals, I think, should be fairly good this year.
Yeah, I think they're coming along. We'll see. They've really struggled the last couple of years. They've played pretty well regular season, but when it comes playoff time, they just
Something happens.
Something happens
I
to
don't
them.
know.
But
this one guy on the radio says they get Bengalized. I'm not sure what
well, the Bengals. A lot of Bengal fans here in the area. Of course, the Bengals were here much before the Colts ever moved to Indianapolis, but a lot of people have changed their allegiance. But I can watch both of them and do enjoy following both of them. And many times, being a radio guy, I like to listen to them on the radio. And both teams, both the Colts and the Bengals have excellent broadcast teams.
Yes, they do.
Really, really respect what they do.
Yes.
However, maybe we could be that way and be that good too if we had all the monitors and all the spotters and everybody in our ear
That's
telling
right.
us what's going on.
That's right. That would make a world difference. Well, we covered football. What about there's a baseball team in Cincinnati, I think.
Is there? They have just fallen off.
Been good.
And it's too bad. And I don't quite understand why. That I thought the manager that they had terminated a couple years ago, I thought he was doing a pretty good
I
job.
Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker, and I thought, why are you doing this? I think I thought he was a pretty good manager, but they certainly didn't improve themselves in that way. And you can't blame it all on the manager. You got to have the players on the field, and it's the front office organization that acquires those players. But still, I don't know what's happened to them this year.
A lot of injuries, but I always think when a team's going bad, injuries increase or something. For some reason.
May well be right.
Yes. But
I don't know. If they played their AAA affiliate, I don't know if they could beat them now.
I agree.
They play
I
them.
agree.
They play them early preseason, but right now I don't know if they could beat Louisville.
They just can't get the hit, can they, when
No,
they needed
no,
it? They
they
leave
sure
these
can't.
guys on base all the time, and it's just, gosh, you see them with runners on, maybe second and third, nobody out. They still can't get them in. I don't know what the problem is. I'm sure they wish they knew what the problem was, but it's been a tough, long season for Cincinnati, and I feel for the fans, and hopefully things will get better.
Yeah, I do too. To me, they're the hometown team. I know there's a lot of Cubs fans here in the area and some St. Louis fans, but
A little bit.
But they're the Reds.
Oh yes,
The Reds are our team here.
That's right. That's right.
Used to years and years ago go to sleep with them on the radio every night
West Coast
and listen to
games.
West Coast
Yes,
games
yes.
and it's kind of miss those days of the rivalry with the Dodgers when never made sense that they were in the Western Division. Of course, there's 3 divisions now, but why Cincinnati was in the Western Division. But so many years that it come down pennant between the Dodgers and the Reds.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they were
back in the days of the Big Red Machine, but they've just never been able to get that back.
Speaking of the Dodgers, they've had 2 games this year where they didn't get a hit, so I imagine those people out there are wondering what's going on.
They're not happy either.
I wouldn't think so, although they are leading the league right now over San Francisco, but I'm not sure how long that can last because Frisco's playing pretty good ball.
Right.
Pretty good ball. So it should be an interesting fall with the World Series, playoffs and everything.
That's when I really start paying attention. If the Reds are out, and they've been out for a long time, but not until playoff time, and then I'll start paying attention, and it's fun to keep up with that. It's kind of like the NBA. To me, the NBA is pretty boring. Now, back when the Pacers were playing pretty well, then they were fun to follow. But to me, if you don't have a local team in it, it's not a lot of fun to watch.
I know. The playoff time are really interesting and everything, and sometimes in the World Series it goes late in the year, and if it's in the wrong city, in one of the northern cities, you could have some really nasty weather. I know that's happened more than one time. Do you get to the Colts games very often?
I've never been. I like I said, I like to listen to them on the radio. Like to watch them on TV. But I would like to go. I just haven't had that opportunity. And doing sports locally here during that time of the year, I'm gone up to 4 nights a week doing that. So sometimes it's hard. I used to like to go down to Assembly Hall and watch the Hoosiers play too, but it's just hard to get down there.
Absolutely. Yeah. You think IU will be a fairly good team?
I think they can be. I wish they would get their problems off the court taken care of, and those young men become good citizens as well as good athletes.
Yeah, you wonder what's going through the head of some of these young guys. I mean, Coach Crean, I think he tries very hard to keep them in line, but for some reason they just stray and cause problems, and hopefully that's at an end.
Yeah, I hope so, and maybe setting an example by terminating 1 or 2 of them.
Yes,
might set the tone for the rest of them.
that might be what it will take, but we'll see. Well, that's just around the corner too. Of course, they've got college to go through, football.
College football will be starting this weekend.
Yes, underway, and we've got a lot of teams to follow around here. We've got IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, so
Miami,
a lot of interest in college football. Well, we might wrap things up here again. We want to invite the fans out Friday night to see the Spartans take on Greensburg at Spartan Field, and hopefully it'll be a win for the Spartans.
We hope so. You and Ronnie will have that game, and Dave Pollard and I will have it on K-Mix, so invite you to tune in.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.